Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 5th of November, comes to you from Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands, where I've escaped for a couple of weeks. So my internet's a little bit slow, so we'll try and get through charts today. So we see the dollar sinking lower. It's been all over the place with the election results, so we are just short-term bearish here. The medium-term and long-term charts are still showing potential recovery and a bottom back in September, but the dollar has been on a real seesaw based on the pulls and thrills of the US election result at the moment. We're seeing the euro sitting at 117.68 this morning, so that has actually benefited from that weaker dollar as well. So we see here that euro is just starting to nudge week-long highs. It's still looking as though it is rolling over though, so we just do need to be aware of that. So dollar strength, euro weakness is the theme today at least. Looking at sterling, we're sitting at 130.32, and we are seeing here sterling's just recovering against that dollar back above that 130 level, so that's quite interesting to see that strength coming in. Bank of England making a significant announcement this morning, of course. Bitcoin is sitting at $14,488. That's actually a 2-year high for Bitcoin, so that's very significant indeed. And we're seeing here the fact that we've taken out that 2019 level, looking very, very bullish indeed. Upside potential of some 36% higher. US markets were strong last night. The breadth was quite weak. We saw across the board that most stocks were down, but it was the big caps that really drove the index higher. And what's interesting is that big weekly candle that we're seeing there now. But of course, expect some volatility as we go to the end of the week, and it's all about the US election at the moment. The Nasdaq really rocketed yesterday, just investors taking things in their stride. We're still, of course, nowhere near making a new high, and that's going to be the significant thing. Can we get and break to a new high? But we are now back to short-term bullish. If we look at the futures today, the futures are up strongly, so it does suggest we're going to see more of the same today. US stocks rising, and that's quite key. So looking very strong for the week there, both on the S&P future and the Nasdaq E-mini up 2%. That's meant that the VIX volatility has come back 1%, the fear index, and we are now back below the critical 30 level on the VIX, so we're starting to look quite bearish there. FTSE future in the UK is up 0.5% this morning, and the German market, the DAX, is up 1%, so we are seeing quite big moves in Europe as well this morning, so all off the back of the US rises yesterday, of course, and more to come today. So markets looking very cheery despite everything that's going on. It's quite something. So we're seeing the DAX back into positive territory on the short-term chart. Asia was mostly up overnight. We saw a big performance on the Hang Seng. That was up 3%. So looking very strong there indeed, and we're seeing here it into bullish territory. Of course, the long-term trend is still down, but it's interesting to see that short-term recovery and back through the cloud on the daily, which we haven't seen for quite some time. Gold looking strong as well. Gold sitting at $1,950, so that's looking bullish short-term, and really quite significant there that we are actually moving higher with gold, and back to bullish on the short-term chart, and trending really nicely, finding support on the lagging line on the daily cloud, so that was really strong. US 10-year yields have been on a roller coaster ride, even more so than the dollar, and we're back to 0.72%. We've been all over the place. We were above 90 at one point yesterday. Look at that massive candle that we've seen on the US 10-year yield, so looking weaker again with downside targets. So interesting, now we're asking ourselves, was that the bottom? But the yields not really showing a lot of volatility. Looking at Brent crude, we're down 0.75% this morning, so here we see the Brent is really just falling away, and that's quite significant as well. And we're below the 0.75% level, and so that's quite significant. And if we look at WTI, it's also down 0.8%, so we're seeing a lower move there as well. Emissions down this morning. They had a very strong showing yesterday. Of course, we've seen quite a recovery in the energy mix, and we need to get above that 25.72 level, which was set in October, to be confident that this is a recovery. We have had the lower low and not yet had the higher high. We're likely to put in a higher low and then a higher high, so we've just got to watch for that. Gas products looking pretty strong this morning, and if we look at German power, sitting at 38.50, so struggling really to get back into positive territory on the 60-minute chart. We do have some upside targets there, but on the whole, and the energy mix has had a very sharp recovery this week, but can it go higher? That's the big question. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.